Have you ever had one of those days where everything goes wrong? Your car breaks down, your water heater decides to retire, or your job suddenly isn't longer secure. It's like life has a secret switch to turn a smooth sail into a stormy voyage without warning. Welcome to Money Craft Masters, the channel where we help you confidently craft your financial future. In today's episode, we're zeroing in on the cornerstone of a solid financial plan, emergency funds. How much must you stop a hiccup from becoming a financial free fall? Let's build that safety net, $1 at a time. Segment 1. What is an emergency fund? An emergency fund isn't just a pool of money. It's your financial fire extinguisher. It's there to douse the flames of the most common yet unexpected life emergencies without diving into debt. Whether it's a sudden job loss, an urgent car repair, or an unexpected medical bill, your emergency fund is the buffer that keeps your life and your savings from going up in smoke. But why do so many of us skate on thin financial ice, hoping the waters of misfortune don't crack beneath us? The truth is, building an emergency fund can seem daunting, but it's not just for the financially fortified. It's for anyone who wants to take the emergencies out of emergency room or the hour breaks out of breakdown. Before we dive deeper, let's dispel some myths that might hold you back from starting your emergency fund. Segment 2. Common misconceptions. Common misconceptions can often deter us from taking the right steps towards financial security. One such myth: I don't have enough money to save. The truth is, saving for an emergency fund isn't about the size of your income, but the consistency of your habits. Even the smallest stream can fill a lake if it flows long enough. Another myth that needs busting is the "I'll just use my credit cards" approach. Credit cards can be a lifeline, but relying on them during an emergency can turn a crisis into a debt spiral due to high interest rates. Your future self will thank you for not piling on debt when times get tough. And let's remember the classic, "I'll start tomorrow" promise. Procrastination is the enemy of preparedness. The best time to start an emergency fund was yesterday. The next best time is today. Because emergencies don't wait, and neither should you. Now, let's tackle the big question. How much do you need? It's not a one-size-fits-all answer, but don't worry. We've got some guidelines that will help you tailor the perfect fit for your financial safety net. Segment 3. How much do you need? So, how much is enough when it comes to emergency funds? You've probably heard financial experts recommend saving 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. But let's unpack that. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, that's a fund of $9,000 to $18,000. It's a target providing a substantial buffer, but the right number for you might differ. Consider your circumstances, your job stability, health, family obligations. You might lean towards a larger cushion if you're a freelancer with variable income. If you have high medical expenses or are the sole provider for a family, you might adjust your target accordingly. But remember, the goal isn't to intimidate you with big numbers. It's to start you on a path of regular saving. Even if you start with $50 a month, the key is to start. Over time, with consistency and commitment, your fund will grow. Ready to figure out your magic number? Let's break it down with some simple math. Segment 4. Calculating your number. All right, money crafters, it's time to grab that pen and paper or open up a spreadsheet if that's more your style. We're about to craft your personalized emergency fund target. First, list out your essential monthly expenses. We're talking housing, food, utilities, insurance, and any debts you're paying off. These are your non-negotiables, costs you must cover to keep your life running smoothly. Now multiply that monthly essentials total by 3. This is your bare minimum safety net. It's what you'd need if you had to tighten your belt for a while, but we're not stopping there. Take that same monthly total and multiply it by 6. This gives you a more comfortable cushion, allowing for unexpected expenses beyond the basic. Got your numbers? Great! This range between 3 to 6 months of expenses is your emergency fund sweet spot. But remember, if your job is less stable or you have dependents, you should aim for the higher end of that range. Feeling overwhelmed by the total? Don't be. The beauty of an emergency fund is that it builds over time. Consistency is your ally here. A small monthly saving can snowball into a substantial fund before you know it. With your target in mind, let's look at how to build up to that amount steadily. Segment 5. Saving strategies. Building your emergency fund doesn't require a financial windfall or drastic lifestyle changes. It's about smart, strategic moves. Starting today, let's dive into some saving strategies that can work for anyone. First up, automate your savings. Set up a direct deposit from your paycheck to a separate savings account designated for emergencies only. Even a small percentage automatically saved removes the temptation to spend what you might otherwise save. Next, look for opportunities to cut back. It could be that daily gourmet coffee or those subscriptions you rarely use. Small savings can add up quickly. Every dollar you redirect into your emergency fund is a step toward financial resilience. Or consider a side hustle if you can. Use your skills or hobbies to generate extra income into your emergency fund. It's not just about the money. It's about building a buffer that buys peace of mind. And remember to check your progress. Regularly review your emergency fund. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small. Each milestone is a victory on your journey to financial security. Your fund is growing, but where should you keep it? Let's talk about that next. Segment 6. Where to keep your fund. Now that you're on your way to building an emergency fund, let's talk about where to stash that cash. You'll want this money to be easily accessible, but not so easy that you're tempted to dip into it for everyday spending. A high-yield savings account is a fantastic option. It offers better interest rates than a standard savings account, which means your money works harder for you. And with online banking, these accounts are just as accessible as your local bank, often without the long lines. Money market accounts are another solid choice. They typically offer higher interest rates than savings accounts. Some even come with check writing privileges. It's like having your cake and eating it too. Your money grows, but it's ready to serve you immediately. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, can be tempting with their higher interest rates, but remember, they lock your money away for a set period. In an emergency, accessibility is key, so CDS might not be the best primary home for your emergency fund. And a pro tip: avoid investing your emergency fund in the stock market. The market's volatility can put your fund at risk when you need stability most. Having an emergency fund is one thing, but keeping it safe from common pitfalls is another. Let's make sure you're set up for success. Segment 7. Avoiding common pitfalls. Building an emergency fund is a critical step in securing your financial well-being, but there are pitfalls you'll want to sidestep to ensure your safety net remains intact. Let's navigate these common traps together. Firstly, resist the urge to tap into your emergency fund for non-emergencies. It can be tempting to pull out funds for that latest gadget or a spontaneous weekend getaway, but remember, discipline is key. Your fund is for emergencies only. Define what constitutes an emergency and stick to it. Another pitfall is not replenishing your fund after you use it. It's not just about having the fund. It's about maintaining it. If you must draw from it, prioritize refilling it as soon as possible. Treat it like any other bill that needs to be paid. Also, be cautious of where you're cutting costs to feed your emergency fund. Skimping on insurance or skipping regular maintenance on your home or car can cost you more in the long run. It's about smart saving, not deferred spending. Lastly, don't let set it and forget it should be your approach. Review your emergency fund periodically. Your emergency fund should evolve as your life changes. Maybe you move, change jobs, or grow your family. Remember, money crafters, an emergency fund is more than just money in the bank. It's your financial lifeline. It's the difference between a minor setback and a major crisis. So build it, protect it, and it will protect you. Thanks for joining us on this journey to financial preparedness. If you've found this video helpful, give us a like and subscribe for more practical money tips. Share your emergency fund success stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're crafting your financial future.